Om Shanti. Good morning, everyone. Today, we will continue the Murli that we read on 15th of December. Date of the Murli is 28 June 1977 and title of the Murli is Do Not Waste Anything and Reduce Your Weight. In this Murli, in the first part, we saw that Baba is asking us to do seva through our attitude, vision, vibrations, and influence of our own elevated experience. And using that, we have to forge a relationship with the Father using a subtle stage of Master Almighty Authority, Master Son of Knowledge, which will enable other souls to experience their own stage, and they will be able to forge a relationship with the Father through our powerful vibrations. Then Baba told us that the form of service will definitely change according to the time and according to the service. Then Baba told us to remind others about Baba or give them vision through a second powerful drishti, a powerful stage, and benevolent and soul conscious feelings. But we can do this only by having two things. What were that two things? First was to pay all-round attention and to do not waste anything anywhere. And the second thing is to reduce weight. Reduce weight of what? Not body, but to reduce the weight of the burden on the soul. Then Baba told us that by wasting your power and time, you are unable to accumulate. And because we are not able to accumulate, we are not able to experience the happiness and the powerful stage. Then Baba reminded us the task of ours, that is, we are world benefactors. This is our task. Then, for saving time and powers, Baba asked us to make a budget. We should be economical with the time and power that we use on ourselves. Then Baba told us that according to drama, you have to be an instrument and attain your elevated attainment through serving. By remembering the slogan, greater splendor through less expenditure. Then Baba told that in order to pass fully and become an instrument for service, you need to pass in every subject. If we will lack in any one subject, then we will not be able to pass fully. Then we will need to pass through the punishment of Dharamraj. Then Baba told us to use every second and every thought to make ourselves powerful and to serve other souls. So this is what we read. Then Baba said, if you then commit any sin, even after becoming Brahmin, if we commit any sin, whether it is in act or thought, then the burden of that is 100 times greater than the first burden. Baba said the earlier burden is not a big thing. But when you become Brahmin and then commit any sin, then that is 100 times greater than the first burden. Then Baba asked us to pay attention that while calling ourselves as a knowledgeable or serviceable soul, we do not become an instrument to do disservice instead of service. Because disservice performed once destroys the account of 10 times as much of service. And then Baba told the signs of the souls who do disservice, that those souls do not experience power or attainment in their remembrance. Their stage fluctuates and their happiness and power finishes. There is nothing inside but emptiness out of confusion. They have account of name and fame full, but the treasure's account is empty. Then they becomes obstacles, even though they are called as destroyer of obstacle, but they themselves become obstacles. And they waste their thoughts and they have peacelessness of the mind. So this is what we read on 15th. Now today we will read from here. Secondly, because you are heavy, your speed of effort cannot become fast. Let alone taking a high jump, you are not even able to run. Now Baba is continuing that when we become instrument for doing this service, then what all things happens? Because you are heavy, your speed of effort cannot become fast. Let alone taking a high jump, you are not even able to run. You make plans to do this or that, but you do not succeed. The third deep aspect is that souls who are so heavy, who become instruments to create obstacles or do disservice, are unable to achieve success because they waste their bodies and minds that they have surrendered to the Father and the wealth they have received for godly service because of the obstacles. That is, they do not achieve success. They accumulate a burden because of wasting. Therefore, now understand clearly the deep secrets of sin. What do you have to do now? Do not waste anything and reduce your weight. This is what Baba is telling us again and again, that do not waste anything and reduce your weight. Before going to the court of Dharamraj, become your own Dharamraj. Open your entire account book and check what still remains in your accounts of sin and charity and what you still have to accumulate. This checking we have to do today. Open your entire account book and check what still remains in your accounts of sin and charity and what you still have to accumulate. Make a special plan for yourself to destroy the account of sin and increase the account of charity. By making a special plan, we can destroy the account of sin and increase the account of charity. Bap Dada looks at the accounts of the children and feels that they should all become prosperous. He's a father, so he wants all the children should become prosperous. There was heavy rainfall. Even the elements are teaching you a lesson. Just as the elements are carrying out their task with full force according to the season, so it is now also the season for Brahmins to accumulate an income. What is the season for Brahmins? To accumulate an income. Therefore, according to the season, accumulate with full force. According to the season, accumulate with full force. Acha, to those who are constantly angels and weightless, that is, to those who have the form of light, to those who burn away their past sins at every second and in every thought and accumulate for the future, to those who are constantly stable in the stage of world servers and who, as great donors, donate all their treasures to other souls, to those who become full of the treasures of all powers and who become bestowers of blessings through their power, to the merciful souls who are constant world benefactors, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Love, remembrance, and namaste from we children to Bap Dada. Bap Dada meeting groups. Do you constantly have the stages of having both thoughts of the original self and positive thoughts for others? This we need to check, that do we constantly have the stage of both thoughts of the original self and positive thoughts for others? When you have positive thoughts, always thoughts finish. When you have positive thoughts, always thoughts finish. When there are waste thoughts, it means you do not have so many positive thoughts. When you have tasted something great, you would not even think of taking anything of a lesser quality. How beautiful line this is. When you have tasted something great, you would not even think of taking anything of a lesser quality. In the same way, those who have positive thoughts cannot have waste thoughts. To have a thought means to become the embodiment of that. In nature, the creatures that live in the ocean stay in the ocean and do not wish to come out. Fish stay in water because they would die as soon as they came out. The ocean and that water is their world. The great big world outside is nothing for them. In the same way, for those who are merged in the Father, the ocean of knowledge, their world is the Father, that is the ocean. For those who are merged in the Father, the ocean of knowledge, their world is the Father, that is the ocean. Do you experience this? Or do you still want to go on a tour outside? Unless you experience merging and becoming the embodiment, you will not be able to experience the praise of Brahmin life, which is one of swinging in the swing of super sensuous joy and remaining cheerful. Unless you experience merging and becoming the embodiment, you will not be able to experience the praise of Brahmin life. What is the praise of Brahmin life? Swinging in the swing of supersensuous joy and remaining cheerful. Those who have experienced this understand the importance of the happiness of this Brahmin life. Brahmins are called the top knot. This top knot is an elevated stage. If you cannot reach it, how can you hoist the flag of victory? If you hoist a flag from an elevated position, you will be called victorious. What is your present effort? Listening and relating continues all the time. But you now have to become experienced. Listening and relating continues all the time, but you now have to become experienced. Experienced ones are able to have more influence. When an experienced person relates something, and then another person who has only heard something does the same, there would be a difference, would there not? People also now want to have an experience. Why do they have special experiences in the yoga bhaktis? Because, as well as speaking, the way to become experienced is to give them an experience as well as giving them knowledge. The results of this are very good. Since souls want to have an experience, become experienced yourself and then give an experience. Because everyone is tired of listening, so they want experience. So, to give them experience, we have to become experienced ourselves. Then we will be able to give them experience. What method should you adopt to become experienced? Just as an inventor stays in complete solitude in order to create an invention, so the solitude here is to be lost in the depth of one. You also need to be isolated from external attractions. Your solitude should not be just that of just sitting in your room. Your mind should also be in solitude. Our solitude is not just of sitting in a room, but our solitude should be in our mind. Solitude of the mind means to stay in the remembrance of one and to become stable. What is meant by solitude of mind? To stay in the remembrance of one and to become stable. This is real solitude. They go into solitude to invent something. They go beyond the surrounding vibrations. So, here you too have to go beyond all attractions. There are also those who do not like solitude, but prefer to be in a gathering where there is laughing and talking. However, that means becoming extroverted. Now, make yourself one who stays in solitude. That is, become introverted and away from the vibrations of all the attractions around you. Now, make yourself one who stays in solitude, that is, become introverted and away from the vibrations of all the attractions around you. Now, such a time is coming when this practice will be useful to you. If you have the practice of being influenced by external attractions, you would then be deceived at some point. If you have the practice of being influenced by external attractions, you would then be deceived at some point. Such circumstances will come that you will not be able to see any support other than this practice. To be in solitude means to be an embodiment of an experience. To be in solitude means to be an embodiment of experience. Those from Delhi became instruments for service from the beginning. So, now become instrument with this speciality. Then others will also copy your experience of this stage. This is the greatest service of all. This is the greatest service of all. Together and individually, spread an atmosphere of both these types of practice. Acha, Om Shanti. Now we will reflect on this for 2 minutes, then we can share our journeys. Om Shanti. Now we all can share our journeys.
Om Shanti. Again, second part is also as powerful as the first part. Murli, actually, the reflection which I would like to share is this original thoughts about one own self, the Adi Swarup, and also the eternal thoughts, Anadi. So these original thoughts are so powerful that they create a elevated stage, and then there is a positive thoughts for everyone, pure feelings for everyone. Everyone is like my brother, soul brother, and we are children of one God. So that universal brotherhood, that oneness, one earth, one family, one future, that kind of feelings come, and that's what Baba says. That's the most elevated stage. And once you have tasted that stage, when in Locking World also, when we have tasted a good quality, perfect quality product, then we obviously we go for that, and that becomes a brand. So once we have tasted a superior quality product, then then there will not the intellect will not wander into the lower quality things, you know. So that is another way. Baba says spiritually, once we have established a superior stage, elevated stage, then why do we come down and try to experience a lower stage? So these two sharings I like to share. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you,
Om
brother.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Today, Baba has given us a method to how to become experienced yourself first, and then you experience to others. And the method that he speaks about is to be in complete solitude, which is being introvert. I wanted to share my experience from last couple of weeks. So it's almost 6 weeks that I'm been off screen and off media, and that was a compulsion for me because I was undergoing a medical challenge, and what I'm experiencing is less of content and more of being in solitude with my own self actually had allowed me to reduce my thoughts. There's been a lot of release of these thoughts, and there's so much of contentment. That urge also now to go back and look at screen has actually gone. So of course for work related things I'm getting back to things slowly, but being introvert is giving me the kind of power and energy that allows me to sustain things for my own self. At the same point of time, I what I'm seeing is there's no conflict outside also, whether it's at work or at home. So no, this point really touched me into from today's Murli, that being introvert and being in solitude with your own self, traveling within, supports so much to your own soul. At the same point of time, brings a powerful energy outside in the environment as well. Om Shanti.
Yes, even Om Shanti, even I liked that aspect of solitude. But I was just thinking about some of us take solitude to be isolation, like just run away from everything, go and sit somewhere alone, nothing to disturb you, nothing to attract you, and then only I will be able to access to that core of myself. But I always would like to distinguish between solitude and isolation, because isolation, going separate and all, it creates fear, it creates loneliness. But solitude, I feel, brings about strength, brings about stability, because here Baba defines solitude as going deeper into the depth of one, then becoming solitude. So it is not a physical separation from the physical elements and all, but first going deeper and deeper into that one, so deep, there you will not find any other world but just the one. That moment you'll feel alone. But even though you'll feel alone, that thing of what we call it as somebody is very tightly holding you away from the attraction. I think that's the solitude. And not only in that, remaining stable in that, these two aspects. So one should really, I feel, make a distinction between isolation and solitude. Even when I'm sitting watching a movie or in this moving train, I should experience that. That kind of, for that, go into the depth of fun.
Yes, Girija, when I agree with you, when solitude is not about being alone or being secluded. It's it's a practice that even when you are in the external world, you're experiencing stability and calm and composed space within your own self. And that's the real practice. As we say, we will sit in meditation. So when we sit in meditation, it may be for 15 minutes or an hour's time. But the real practice of the impact of meditation is for the rest of the time when we are not sitting and doing meditation. So similarly, the practice of real solitude is being out there in the world and still be stable and calm.
Yeah, I remember that story I used to read when I was small, Shakuntala, how deeply she was in love with Dushan. So much so, I know she lost her ring. And then even the king whom she remembered forgot her. But I loved that kind, so many people crossing and going, but she was so absorbed in that love of her love. And that kind, totally oblivious of what's happening. Of course, that landed her in trouble, one say, but I love that. That one aspect I would love to take. How did she go so deep, so deep, so deep in love? So I think love also you need, that absolute love for the one. I always compare myself to Shakuntala whenever I have to go deep down. Om Shanti.
I think that's one of the analogy that Baba has given in today's Murli, where he's spoken about those living creatures who are in the water, and when they come out of the water, they die. So that was also one example that Baba gave in today's Murli as to what it means to be merged in love.
And yes, in that stage, seeing but not seeing, listening but actually not listening, that kind of Baba says na, देखते हुए भी नहीं देखना, नहीं देखेंगे, सुनते हुए भी नहीं सुनेंगे. So that is something like deep inside the soul is merged in the love for the one, and then outside influences, outside distractions cannot influence that soul.
But don't you think, Ombai and Rakhi Ben, sometimes that leads to craziness? Why I tell you, when in the initial stages, when I took the Gyan, I'm saying when I just took, I don't know, I know only that period. I was a teacher in school, and we had something called as examination supervision there. You have to do nothing. You have to just sit there and watch. So at that moment, I used to go deep down, and I used to talk. I used to really enjoy myself. My eye was there on the students. So once my supervisor who had crossed, I didn't know she had crossed. I felt very this. She saw me not even looking at her. So, I got a memo after that. Mrs. Krishnan is always lost in something. She is not there in her surroundings and all. I don't know. That was a checkpoint for me. Oh, is this being lost? So that is also needed to be seen. I can never forget that experience of my early days.
May I just reflect on this, sister? That's why, the balance has to be there. Baba says that in 1 second, detach from the role and from the world and go to the Paramdham and experience one-on-one with Baba, the deep love. And then after experiencing, come back to this world and then listen or hear or see what you need to see at that moment of time in the role which demands for you to be vigilant. But that should not affect your inner stage. The inner stage has to be always elevated. That's one condition. Baba says, what come what may, whatever roles you're playing, that roles are very, very important, very essential, because you are right now, nobody can play a role that so perfectly other than you in that moment of time. You are the hero. But that should not be carried in your experiences, the plus and minus of that role. This sukh dukh, ninda stuti should not affect you. That is why Baba says keep if perfect thing is like you always be in Twaram Dham, but then that cannot, because as you said, then you get these kind of comments that you are, this soul is always in her or his own world and not paying enough attention to the role. So Baba says balance, go beyond sound, come back to sound, go beyond sound, come back to sound. So then at your will you can detach, go beyond sound at your own will, not because of any circumstances, but your own choice. Rakibin and others may also share. Om Shanti.
Agree with you, Mumbai. It's like being consistently practicing going in solitude and coming back in the world and seeing for yourself, checking for yourself as to how is that impacting. So therefore, all of these drills supports a lot.
Om Shanti, just adding there. I think that is why Baba says this is a pilgrimage of remembrance. It's pilgrimage. You are traveling from one place to the other. Pilgrimage of remembrance, and you're going out of the body and then going to the eternal home, the abode of your soul, experiencing and coming back. And the more we do that, the better it becomes easy for us to come out of the body in a second. I think that's what the whole practice that which Baba would like to see us doing. And it has to become natural nature for us to come out of the body. So very good point that brought out. Another point that which I liked here is the Baba says open your account, entire account book, and then check what remains, how much you have accumulated and how much you have lost, how much you have wasted. So that is also, if you look at it, Brahmins have the fortune of earning multi-million at every step that they take. At the same time, they also are cursed in such a way, we can say that if knowingly or unknowingly, if you do any sort of a disservice, that can also cause 100%, 100-fold loss. So we'll have to pay attention to every step that we take. It can be accumulation or it can be loss. Om Shanti.
Raki sister, but let me tell you, I enjoyed those phases of craziness because, like a housewife standing and boiling the milk, she's in lost and the milk turns over. I love that. That it enabled me to tell Baba, Baba, I was thinking about you. When the milk came, couldn't you make it make a noise and bring me out? I'm just saying it was a beautiful phase, let me say. I'm not ashamed of what happened, that because that led me. And when you're deep in love, first time in love, all that happened. So I accepted all that. I said, okay, Baba, no problem. So I was just lost in your love at some degree. Okay, I had just one more question, Sakhi Ben. See, when they say positive thoughts, there's no waste thoughts. So I just was a little bit thinking, because we all have positive thoughts, but waste thoughts are always there. So why has Baba mentioned when you have positive thoughts, all waste thoughts finish? I was just thinking of the statement. If somebody could throw some real practical light on it.
This is
May I
yes,
just
brother.
share just one line? This positive thoughts will come before that. The eternal thoughts, the eternal stage or the original stage thoughts are the source of positive thoughts. Positive thoughts cannot come on their own. They have to be first, the prerequisite is the original stage, original thoughts. Who am I? I'm a DT soul. That's the source of all types of positive thoughts. In any role, positivity will come only when the originality is there. That is, I'm a soul, not the body, and I'm a divine soul. That is one aspect, and others may also share. And second thing is that, yeah,
Go ahead,
we'll
Rahul.
thought and that's it.
By one sentence, you see, when there are waste thoughts, it means you do not have positive thoughts. I just was thinking about that. How can it be?
Yeah, both cannot exist, coexist together, sister. If there is a positive thought, there won't be any waste thought. If there is a waste thought, there cannot be positive thought. We cannot have 50% waste thought, 50% positive thought at a moment of time. At an instant, we cannot. There would be just one thought, whether it's positive or not positive. It could be one moment positive and the next moment negative. That could be there. But that moment, one moment which we have selected, that moment there could be any either positive or negative. So if we analyze this way, we'll come to know Baba is saying, right, if there's a positive thought, there won't be any waste thoughts, because it's a space which is filled by positive thoughts, like cup of coffee. If it is filled, it is filled. Then there's no emptiness in the cup. But if but that cup is so minute, so minuscule in analogy of a thought or and moments, that there could be only one. बाप है नहीं तो बात है, यदि बात है तो फिर बाप नहीं है. So that's why Baba says that. So minuscule, so ati sukshma. Others may also please share. Om Shanti.
Yes, you just mentioned baat hai to baap nahi or baap hai to baat nahi. As in so many Murlis, Baba says that जहाँ पाप है वहाँ बाप नहीं और जहाँ बाप है वहाँ पाप नहीं है. So two things cannot coexist the way you mentioned, Om Bhai, and the point that you brought in was in the moment there could be flip between a waste thought and a positive thought, but they cannot coexist. Thank you for sharing that, Om Bhai.
And one more thing is it requires effort to create positive thoughts. That's sure. Because if we compare it, let's say there is a field, the unwanted plants will grow without we doing anything on the field, it just grow the thorns and the other plants, right? It start growing. But if you have to create a garden, then it requires effort. No? You have to clean the land, I mean the field, and then dig it, and then pluck out all the unwanted plants, and then put the seed, and then water it, and then it takes its own time to come out as a plant, and then bear fruits or flower. And then it requires effort also to sustain that, right? The birds or should not come and eat your plant. Many things will come to attack, right? A beautiful garden, so we have to sustain it in such a way that it is protected from all these sort of things. And you see the other side, the field that which is not sustained, right? Many things can grow in the same field. The more we pay attention to, the more we take care of it every day, with sustaining it well, watering it on time, plucking out the unwanted small plants, right? The beautiful our garden will become. So similarly, it requires good amount of effort to put in all the positivity. We have to take it from the Murli, that which we like every day-to-day basis, and put it inside and water it, churn about it, and then make it flourish within yourself. Om Shanti.
Very
Now,
beautiful.
bottom line is okay, Om Bhai, go ahead.
I just okay, sister, you may share because there's a traffic control
I was
running.
just summarizing the whole thing that Pajit Bhai spoke about. Is underlying word is practice. Just keep practicing, and the practice becomes your way of being there. Yes,
And yes,
Om Bhai.
that analogy is so beautiful, Vijit Bhai brought out so beautifully. I mean, thank you, Vijit Bhai. That the flow, that field is to be prepared first, and in spiritual sense, it's a stage. And Baba says the original stage is the best field which one can ever prepare. And seeds are Soman. That who am I? Those that will prepare the field, and constantly be reminding yourself. And Sangati, Satsang is always the best environment or best ecosystem we can give for a thought to that, because thought is a seed, and the seed is positive. The cultivation will also be positive. The fruits will also be positive. That is one thing. And second is Baba spoke about the weightless. I mean, slim and trim, lean and mean, and that will prevent the soul from various diseases, as in Lockic world. If there is a overweight or obesity, then there are many likelihood of heart diseases and blood pressure and diabetes and various kinds of complications later on. So here Baba says that reduce weight, and the best form of reduction weight is to control the diet, the thoughts which we intake knowingly or unknowingly, and also maintain the one is the nutrition, that is the intake, and second is drill exercises which Baba gives, going beyond sound and coming back to the sound, and see whether you are still beyond sound while playing into the role of playing the role. So that these exercises also help us. Others may also share about the other methods to reduce weight of basically the spiritual weight, the thoughts, wasteful thoughts, how we can reduce. Om Shanti.
Wonderful sharing, brother. Sister, did you get the answer?
Trying to. I liked only that one concept which Raki mentioned. It's just a flip of the moment. So just that flip, that one moment, they exist. But then one kills the other. Waste kills positive. Positive finishes waste. Maybe. But as somebody said, that's an exercise. That's not very easy. It's a sort of a thing where we should know to have a paradigm shift, absolute 360-degree shift from positive to waste or waste to positive. That's how I take it.
It's actually, it is the two sides of the same coin, isn't it, sister? It could be head or tail. But then if we have this, the only advantage we have in this conference stage is that we can decide which side we want to have it on top. That's the magic. That is a secret Baba has given to us. We would like to always have head. Yes, keep the head. That's a secret. That you can make your coin both sides head and keep tossing it, and it will always come head. But before coming into Gyan, the secret was not there with us, that I am the creator of my own destiny. That's the secret Baba has given to us, isn't it? Because the new birth gives the new secrets to us. This is the secret, no? New birth means there's no tail now, only heads. So it's how we, what's my attitude, what's my vision. That is, I am my attitudes and visions creator.
Wonderful, brother. Now let's move on to the meditation. Sit back comfortably. I, the soul, situated in the center of my forehead. I, the soul, is an elevated Brahmin soul. I, the soul, pay attention to my every thought and every action. I, the soul, use all my time and powers economically. I am double light soul. I, the soul, serves the whole world. I am the world benefactor. I, the soul, is free from all the attraction of external world. I am totally absorbed in the love of the Father. I am going deep and deep. Love of one, the ocean. I am experiencing the real solitude of mind. I am an experienced soul who give experience to other souls through my vibration. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. Let's experience this solitude of mind throughout the whole day. And see you all tomorrow at 5 a.m. Thank you. Om Shanti.